Hey everyone, welcome to my library. My name is Melissa. This is Lily. She's making an appearance. Yay! Oh, she got shy. And here's Butter. She's making an appearance. Yes, you're so cute. Say hi to the camera. I'm sorry I didn't feature them in my most recent video, but yeah, when I sit on my my couch, they don't really have access to show their face, but when I sit on the floor and have my bookshelves behind me, they do. But they also get a lot more riled up, so yeah, it's just a toss-up. But I thought I'd just change up the angle today since I know I've been doing a lot of filming on the couch recently, and I thought I'd kind of show off the books more up close. So anyways, yeah, this is a recent reads video / what I'm reading currently video, weekly reads, whatever you want to call it. I just finished obviously getting ready, so my hair is still wet, but I really wanted to film this video while I still had time. It's very busy at work right now, and I kind of have a window of time where I don't have any meetings or anything, so it's a time to quickly get ready and film. Anyways, so plans for just kind of updates with my life, I guess, in case anyone is curious, but I can leave a timestamp if you just want to hear my reads. So tonight I am doing a girls' night with my in-laws. Since I live close, I literally live in a mile radius of basically all of my in-laws except for one sibling of my husband's that doesn't live here. Anyway, so obviously with that, we live close and we can get together. And so we've made it kind of a monthly occurrence to do a girls' night where all of the women of the family get together and do something fun. So tonight we are doing a little paint by numbers night where it's right here, so I'll just show it. Each of us bought a painting that we're going to attempt to do in a 3-hour time span and see how far we get for the night. And so I chose this one. It's not going to be obvious, I don't think, on camera what it looks like. It is a palm tree here, like 3 or 4 palm trees and a beach, and then a boat right here. You really can't tell, especially with the glare, sorry. But yeah, I ended up buying this because of going to Hawaii. I wanted like a Hawaiian theme just to kind of reminisce. There were bookish themed ones and I really thought about that, but yeah, and this one was really colorful, which I really struggle with anything art related. I do not have I'm a very left brain. I'm not a right brain at all, right? I think that's the right sides. Where I am not artistic, I am not creative. Even my bullet journal is boring schmoring. So anyways, I'm excited about doing paint by numbers because it's literally laid out for you, but I wanted something that was gonna be very colorful. Anyways, I'm still nervous though, because if you can't tell, this is a tiny picture and the numbers are very, very minuscule and precise. And I am not a precise person either. So we're gonna see how this goes. If it's a complete disaster, then I'm just gonna, trash it. But it'll be a fun evening activity, and we'll just see. This is why I like puzzles, because you just have to figure out how it's laid out. You don't have to do any of the artsy part of it. But yeah, they don't like puzzles, so it's okay. Paint by numbers is a good middle ground for everyone. So yeah, that's what I'm doing tonight. Should be fun. And then other than that, just kind of hanging around the house with the dogs. And it's nice and sunny today. It's always sunny here. But we've actually had a lot of monsoons recently, which have been wild. I have not lived through monsoons before since I moved here in the fall. But they are just crazy rainstorms that last for 5 minutes. And it seems like you're in the middle of a tornado or something. It's crazy outside. Limbs and trees are breaking all over the place. And then it's like completely fine and back to normal. And it's humid outside and it's just wild. So yeah, certain things about Phoenix, it's just super random. But okay, so that's my life update. So now let's get into what I've been reading, especially because I have been MIA for the past 3 weeks. So I really wanted to share what I have been finishing. You might think that with 3 weeks of time, I would finish a lot of books, but if you know me, you know I read slow. And so I definitely don't have the kind of numbers that some other booktubers have where they, you know, crank out like 30 books a month or something. Definitely not my style. Yeah, I just go through books rather slowly. Yeah, I don't know if that's just a factor of time and just that I read slowly or what, but it's all good, you know? I've accepted it and I'm totally chill with having that be my numbers. But anyways, so I did end up reading 3 books over the past 3 weeks. So I ended up finishing finally Heaven and Hell by John Jakes. I took this book and lugged this book around literally everywhere in Hawaii. So yeah, it definitely it got really beat down and used, heavily used, but it still managed to keep its shape, so that's good. But yeah, so this was how many pages? It was a long book, 775 pages. So yes, a big book. But this was the concluding book in the North and South trilogy. I read the first 2 and needed to read the 3rd one this year to finish out the series. And I really, really enjoyed it. So this book heavily centers on one main character, Charles Maine, and his comings and goings throughout all of America, his relationships with a ton of different people, especially with his son. And I really had a hard time connecting to his character because he ends up leaving his son to go and basically find himself in the West. And I just cannot relate to someone who can do that. I don't know. I think if you have a kid, if you have a child that you're in charge of, that should be your main priority. And so it just felt kind of icky that he was doing that. And then it gets all wrapped up in the end, but it just, I don't know. I just really struggled with that part of it. Additionally, it focused on another main character that's been a main character the whole trilogy, which is Madeline Maine. So it focused on all of the trials she went through as she lived in the South during the Reconstruction era. So all of this is post-Civil War, which I thought was really cool to have this be the conclusion of it, but also have it be post the war and what happened to America. John Jakes is incredible at incorporating history into the storyline. So it was just nice, a nice like history lesson as well into what happened to America. And especially what happened to the South, because obviously they went through a major change. And so, yeah, it was just a really, really good conclusion. I did end up rating it a 3.5 star because of all of the chapters that involved Charles, where he has a lot of like battles. He's in a lot of war scenes with the Native Americans, and it just kind of got a little boring to me. I'm not here for those scenes. I'm here for the drama of like the family and the romances and stuff like that. And so that's just a personal taste, I think, more than a reflection on how the writing was or anything or the plot. But yeah, it just got a little bit boring. But I'm glad I read it. I'm so glad the trilogy is done. I know the TV series kind of goes off the rails. It really doesn't follow this plot line at all from what I know. So I'm nervous to finish out the TV series and see how the directors take liberties with the story. we'll see. You guys can let me know down below what you guys thought of the final season of North and South, and just, you know, how it goes, because I think it doesn't really tie in as well as I would hope, but we'll see. So yeah, so I read that. And then I ended up finishing on audio Slightly Married by Mary Balogh. This is the first book in the Bedouin Saga series that she wrote and started. I don't know what date. It's kind of an older book. I think it was like 2004 or something. Let me just see, because I'm now kind of curious. 2003. So yeah, so I actually really loved this book. I don't know, I wrote on Goodreads, I can't peg why I loved this book so much, because it was pretty standard as far as like historical romance goes, but there was just something about it that really resonated with me. I really loved the characters and the introduction to the Bedouin family. This is a very good, so far, as you know, as someone who's just read the first book, this is a very good series to start if you're looking for another Bridgerton-like family series where each book focuses on a different sibling in the family and their love story. And so this one focuses on Aidan Bedouin, who is the second son in a line of, I think, 6 siblings. So since he is the second son, he's obviously not the heir, so he's not the Duke, but he is expected to be in the army, which I didn't know was a thing. Maybe it's just a thing for the Bedouins, but basically, as part of being a second son, that is your vocation. That's what you're expected to do. So he's in the army, and then what happens is one of his comrades in while he's fighting ends up dying, and he's holding him as he's dying in his arms, and he says, please go and tell my sister and please watch over her and make sure she doesn't wear black, because I don't want her to mourn for me like that. And so it's kind of a random request, honestly, but yeah, so he promises to go and tell her and watch over her. So Aidan goes and meets Eve, who is the girl, the main heroine, and lets her know that, you know, her brother has died, etc., etc. And he ends up learning that she is basically going to lose the estate that was in her hands, unless she ends up marrying within a year. And so, and the year actually ended up cutting off right when he was kind of coming back to tell her he was dead or something. Somehow the time was really crunched. So he ended up deciding, okay, the only way I can really protect you and save you from ruin is to marry you. And so it's a marriage of convenience trope. And it goes from there. And then, you know, she comes from someone who, a family that is not in the town, is not in society. And so she ends up having, it's kind of like a Cinderella story where she ends up having to embrace the culture and embrace this part of his life. And there's a lot of give and take with this book, is what I would say. A lot of give and take with the couple. They have a lot of miscommunication, which sometimes I like, sometimes I don't. But it really worked well in this book for me. So long story short, I really enjoyed this. I gave it a 4.5 stars, whatever. And I am continuing with this series. The second book is called Slightly Wicked. I have it here. I'll just pull it out now. So this one is actually, it's a compendium of Slightly Wicked and Slightly Scandalous, the next book in the series, but I'm listening to it on audio. Rosalind Landor, my favorite, my queen for narrations, narrates these books. And so anyways, I'm reading Slightly Wicked through audio and really enjoying it. It's the story of the third son in the Bedouin family. So yes. Okay, so there's that book. And then the last book I ended up finishing literally 2 days ago, finally, is The Silkworm by Robert Galbraith. So this is the second book in the Cormoran Strike series. This is a crime mystery series. It follows a man named Cormoran Strike, who is a private detective, and his assistant named Robin, as they solve crimes throughout the series. So yeah, this book was a ride. I'll just say that. So the thing I love that keeps me going with this series is the absolute slow burn of slow burns romance that is happening between Robin and Cormoran. Yeah, so Robin's engaged in the first book, so there's that's really standing between them, and he doesn't want to cross any lines, but there's there's a flame there, there's a spark there, and then in this book it's kind of ignited a little bit more. So that's what kept me going, honestly. But the plot itself, the mystery of this crime that happens with an author, it was so out there for me. I don't know. It was a lot. This book has very heavy language and pretty gruesome. So if any of that triggers you, just know. But also, yeah, the characters were really hard to keep straight for me. I don't know. Maybe it's just that I'm not used to reading mysteries in general, that I was just going for the ride and not really trying to piece together anything because I just gave up. But it was a really well-written book, and I did enjoy how it ended. So yeah, I know I'm going to continue with the series because I got to see where that romance goes. But anyways, yeah, so this is number 2. Number 3 is Career of Evil. I have it on my shelves. Gonna read it. Want to see where the romance goes, and then just, go along with whatever crime happens and whatever mystery unfolds. I'm also watching the TV series, which is called CB Strike. I'm watching it on Prime, but I don't know if it's on Prime or if I am subscribed to the channel that offers it, whatever. It's really good too. It's not like a really long series. The first 2 episodes or first 3 episodes cover the first book, and then there's 2 episodes that cover this book. So it's really quite fast paced. It covers a lot for each episode. So if you're looking for something that really quickens up a plot, there you go. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars because I literally just could not follow what was happening. But I really did enjoy the characters. Cormoran Strike is one of those epic characters that I just think is really well developed. J.K. Rowling does a great job with that. So yeah, here's another book I ended up finishing this past week. Okay, so then let's talk about the 2 books I started yesterday that I am so obsessed with. I'm so excited about. So let me grab them. So what I ended up doing yesterday, because I finished the Silkworm, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to read next. And anyways, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try a chapter and just see how the first chapter goes for these 2 books that I really wanted to pick up. And I tried both chapters and literally loved them so much. And so I couldn't decide. And I was like, you know what? We're just going to read them both. We're going to try reading simultaneously and just switching back and forth depending on which one I'm feeling like reading that day or that hour. And so anyways, the 2 books are Paint the Wind by Cathy Spellman and Our Darkest Night by Jennifer Robson. So I'll first talk about Paint the Wind, and I'll show the step back because I just love it. So basically, this follows a woman named Fancy Deverell, who is portrayed right here, I'm assuming. And it follows her life basically from her adolescence into adulthood, and then what happens from there. So obviously right now, literally me being only, how many pages am I in? Almost 40 pages in. It's following her after her family's home has been completely burned to the ground. She lived in Louisiana, and so her family's home is gone, and she ends up basically hightailing it to the West with one of her freed slaves, who has always been in her life and is a kind of like father figure to her, basically. And so that's what's happening now, is she's going west with him, and he's watching over her. And I don't know what it is about their relationship, but it is so sweet and so tender, and you can tell he really loves her. And there's a point in the book where she gets bitten by a snake. That just happened. And he ends up kind of like offering himself to God, saying, please let this girl live and you can take me instead. And so anyways, it's just, I don't know, I'm really loving this. It's so heartfelt, and the characters so far are so well done. So I can't wait to see where it goes. I know what, from the back of the book, I know essentially what happens is Fancy ends up falling in love with both of these men at some point. They're brothers, so there's going to be some major drama with that. But also it's just about her building a dynasty and kind of just being this bad A character. It's compared to Gone with the West. It's the Gone with the Wind of the West. So that's why I wanted to read it, because it was related to that book. I'm in a major Gone with the Wind kind of epic story vibe. So yeah, so I picked this book up and am loving it. I highly recommend. It's rated like a 4.3 on Goodreads for, I mean, not that many ratings, but still, people seem to love this story. So I am really enjoying it as well. The next book is what I just mentioned, Our Darkest Night by Jennifer Robson. So this is a World War II historical fiction book. It's a new release. It came out this year. I'm also not that far into it, but this is the story of a Jewish woman named Antonita. Is that how you say it? No, Antonina, who... her dad is a doctor, and obviously with them being in Italy in 1943, they're in the ghetto and he's not supposed to be practicing anymore, but he still is, and he's kind of like sneaking around trying to do that, and she's helping him. But what literally just happened is the Germans have invaded, and so there's kind of chaos going on around them. And her dad is like, hey, you need to leave. I can't leave because I have to watch over your mom. Her mom is had a stroke and is now like completely invalid. But anyways, he's like, you need to leave. I have some arrangements with a Catholic priest that I can kind of connect you with. So I know what ends up happening based on the back of the book is she ends up basically faking a marriage with a Catholic man who knows the priest. And so I think she ends up going to Switzerland and kind of faking that this marriage is happening to kind of hide her. And so, but then what ends up happening is they actually end up falling for each other. And then I know there's just a lot of drama happening with the town because they don't really believe that she's not just this Jew that's hiding out. So anyways, yeah, that's the story, and it sounds so good because they're obviously not the same religion, which is something I loved in From Sand and Ash, that kind of drama. And then it being World War II historical fiction, one of my favorite genres ever. So anyways, there's just so many things adding up to this being an amazing book, and I'm so excited. I read the first chapter and loved it. I actually read it while I was attending Krista's live last night. She did a live read-in productivity sprint thing, and so anyways, during that sprint I ended up reading more of this, and I really am enjoying it. So this one will be a much quicker read than Paint the Wind. It's how many pages? 360 pages. And the font is rather big and spaced out. So it's really not going to take me that long compared to Paint the Wind. I'll show you guys this font. It's craziness. Super tiny font. And it is how many pages? 810. So yeah, this one is a commitment, but I'm so excited. I hope the writing in here is amazing. That's what I'm loving so far too. I have just loved Cathy Spellman's writing so far. So if it keeps going, it honestly could compete for my favorite book of the year. We'll see. But anyways, yeah, those are the 2 books I'm reading. Oh yeah, I already mentioned this, but I'm also listening to on audio Slightly Wicked by Mary Balogh. Balogh. I keep saying Balogh and it's Balogh. I listened to Rosalind say that, so I need to say it right. But yeah, that's everything for my weekly reads update. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please let me know in the comments below what books you guys are reading, or if you have any opinions on the books I read or am reading. Would love to hear. And with all that being said, please like and comment and subscribe if you want to see more from me. And I will see you guys in another video. Bye!